Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this travel agency marketing strategy session. It is definitely morning, and no, I have not been out all night, but I have been at industry events where I have been so enthusiastic about the travel industry as a whole, and building travel businesses that I have screamed and shouted and worn my voice out. So I might have a little fun with this voice in today's session just because it sounds all yeah. But today we're talking about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is landing pages. So I'm sorry, I had to look over at my screen to make sure that is what I had loaded up. If you joined me on the last session, I my computer lost or ate my homework. So today, that is not a problem because I do have my presentation for us, and I am going to get that started right now. Stand by because we're going to tuck right in. Now, if you have any questions throughout the session, um, drop them into the chat. I'm going to try to stay on track to make sure we don't go over too much. No, we're not going to go over. But I'm going to get over to your questions as soon as I can. So just allow me to put the questions in. Even if I answer them, I'll address them when I get through them or get through the section. Also, a little background. I didn't actually explain who I am, and you might be brand new to these sessions or even to me. So if I haven't met you before, I'm so happy to meet you. My name is Joshua Harrell, and I am the Chief Revenue Officer for World Via Travel Group. And what that means is that I'm in charge of everything from marketing to sales to service delivery for our clients. So I know it sounds revenue. It sounds like Scrooge McDuck in it in the coins. No, that's not what it is, but it is all about how do we attract customers? How do we grow our sales with those customers? And then how do we deliver our service and our promise to our customers? Which is essentially what you do in your business every day. So you are now the Chief Revenue Officer of your company. All right. So yes, please find me on social media. I am everywhere. And we can connect that way. But what I am here to do today is to talk about landing pages. So let me get into it. Stand by, everyone. Um, I should be sharing my presentation, and we're going to go right into it there. All right. So, yes, again, welcome to Travel Agency Marketing Strategy Sessions with me, Joshua Harrell. And today we're going to be unlocking the power of digital marketing with landing pages for travel agencies. Um, And like I said, ask questions and I'll be happy to answer them as soon as I get through my different sections, okay? All right, so let's tuck in. The the lineup for today is we're going to talk about the anatomy of a successful landing page. I'm also going to tell you what a landing page is, by the way, just to make sure that that's clear. Also, I'm going to talk about tailoring content to the travel industry and or it essentially to the traveler is what I should say there. And then optimization strategies for maximizing conversion. And conversion is when an unknown visitor comes to your website or comes to your landing page and becomes known to you by filling out a form. That is a conversion, okay? And then we're going to talk about driving traffic to your landing page, which is important. If you build it, they won't come. You do need to do some things. And then we're going to get, for those of you who like to get into the technical stuff. We're going to get into analyzing and refining your approach. And even if you're not one of those analytical people, no worries, because we're so the information that I'm going to unpack there is still going to be helpful for you as you begin this journey of building landing pages. So let's begin with the anatomy of a successful landing page. Now, before I get started, um, this presentation is based on you knowing what a landing page is, okay? And that's not the case for everybody. So let's just make it really, really simple, okay? You have your website, and your website has pages. Those pages on your website are not considered landing pages. I know. You're like, stop it right now. You're blowing my mind. There's something else I've got to do. Yes, there is. So, your website is your website. It is your home on the web. You have curated the content and designed the menu layout and all the different conversion points on the website to work with your brand, to make it easier for people who discover your website to convert and become known to you. It is your spot on the web. Okay. Your landing pages are standalone pages. They could be connected to your website. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me on a technicality there. They could be connected to your website, but a landing page does not have all of it. It doesn't look like a page on your website. So it doesn't have the menu items at the top of the page. It doesn't say, um, uh, uh, let's see, what I do, about me, um, contact me. It doesn't have that stuff at the top of a website, the menu of a website. It has a logo. It has your logo. I mean, it should definitely have your logo. But it has a sole purpose in life, okay? Its sole purpose is whatever you want it to be, but it has a single purpose. It is not come absorb a bunch of different pages on my website. It is all about driving the visitor to that page to do one thing. So, like I said, you can have it connected to your website. A use case for landing pages would be something like you've got a group that you've put together for a specific date. Um, and you want to have one place where they can get the information that they need and then also submit their inquiry to say, hey, I'm interested. Okay. So I might have a link from my website to say, here's my latest group sailing, and shoot them over to a landing page. Generally, landing pages live in a different system than than your website. So many of you might use our website builder. If you're a member of our network, you might use our website builder, or you might use a product like Squarespace or Wix, different website builders. Um, and some of those do have landing page capabilities where you can just build a one page and put a conversion point like a form into the site. So if you're using a system that has the ability for you to quickly add pages and change the layout of the page to suit, it could look completely different from the rest of your website, um, then you don't need another system. We have a system in our network called Email Plus, that the plus part of Email Plus is a landing page builder. And I might go over there and show you a bit on that, not necessarily on Email Plus, but how you build a landing page so you can kind of get your bearings there. But for the most part, the landing page is you're utilizing another system, and and that system just helps you easily create landing pages. Landing pages, like I said, is a one page. Um, It can have follow-up pages like thank you pages, things like that. But it is one page. It does not have anything to do with your main website. So there are website pages and landing pages. I feel like I went on a really big tangent there, so I apologize. That was not my intent, but my intent was to just separate the two. Website, you're putting a lot of information on there. You're thinking about how different users are using the website and how they get to different pages to an ultimate outcome of contacting you or pulling the trigger to request a quote. A landing page has one thing that needs to happen. We don't want to send them elsewhere. We don't want them to go visit our blog. We don't want them to go check out our services. If we do, we put that all in the body of a landing page because at the end of the day, all of the conversion points on a landing page will go to one place or do one thing, right? And I'll get into that more. So now, no two landing pages are the same, but all should have five core elements. All right, five core elements that you can take a snapshot of this or you can take notes because I'm going to be breaking it down. All right. So we want, if you notice, I put in here five core elements that every high converting landing page must have. A landing page is not effective if it does not convert your own unknown visitors or visitors to leads. And if they're already customers, like in the case of the example I gave you about you have a group sailing to the Galapagos that you're doing next year, you would create a landing page for that and you'd send that to your customers. So when you do that, they're already customers, they're not leads, but you still want them to convert. You still want them to take action and and sign up for that group sailing. So that's not necessarily them turning into a lead. It's a lead for that particular sailing that you're putting together. But at the end of the day, the conversion, the whatever you want them to do, whether it's to call you or submit a form, that is what the conversion point on a landing page. And in order for you to have a high converting landing page, you need to have these four core elements. The first one is a unique selling proposition or USP. Now, if you have been doing anything, if you are a marketer or if you have taken marketing courses, you hear about unique selling propositions all the time. Those are you're told to put those into your elevator pitch. Make sure that it's clear on your website what your USP is. Um, and that is what this is. However, on the landing page, you have whatever the USP is for that landing page. So is that USP the same as your agency's USP? In some cases, it might be. Maybe you have a special promotion about working with your agency, right? So then you're going to make sure that you are conveying that unique selling proposition. What makes you unique? Why should I work with this company? Why should I do this thing? That is the unique selling proposition. So that is what makes you uniquely you and why I, as a traveler, should work with you. Okay. Now, for a landing page, that unique selling proposition could apply to that group sailing that we were just talking about. Why? What is the unique selling proposition for that particular group sailing? And when you craft that, that could be working with you, so it could still be part of your agency's USP, but it is also about that particular sailing to the Galapagos. Like why do I want to travel with the group of people that you're putting together? So it's not a one and done thing. It is making sure that you're conveying what you're selling and what's so unique about it. Okay, why should I is what you should apply to the USP. And that should be really, really clear at the top of your landing page, but also throughout. And doesn't mean that you have to cut and paste that USP over and over and over again. It just needs to be very, very clear in everything that you write, all the visuals that you use. Whatever you're saying is your USP should be very clear to see throughout the landing page on that you've put together. I'm going to take a second here and just acknowledge that I have 4 dogs and it is a Saturday. So if you hear licking, you hear barking, I do apologize, but it is a Saturday and we're learning from home, right? And I'm teaching from home. So bear with if you hear any of those sounds. Okay. All right. Now, the next item that needs to be on a high converting landing page is a hero image or video. You are going to, if you tune into these sessions each week, you are going to hear me talk about hero images and videos all the time. All right. Now, if you know me, you might think that means that it needs to be a superhero. And that is not what I'm talking about. A hero image, and you have experienced it throughout your lifetime on the web. It is, you go to a website and you see like the logo, you see menu items. However, on your landing page, we don't have menu items, remember? Okay. We have a logo, and then it's that giant image you see before you start to scroll. And you have that on most pages, no doubt, on your website. Or if you're building your website, make sure you have these images. Humans are very visual people. And yes, we want to get right down to it, but if a visual cue can help us get in the right frame of mind, uh, then let's use it. So if whether it's a website page or landing page, your hero image and video is the giant image or looping video that you have whenever someone lands on the pages. Before you start to scroll, it's that gigantic billboard almost, and it can be a beautiful uh, picture of a castle. If you're all about theme parks, it could be a picture of Galapagos, using my group sailing option or idea. It could be going back to talking about groups, it could be a photo of the last group that traveled together with you. It's something that when you stand away from your landing page, maybe 8 feet back, and you look at your screen, you know what that page is all about. Okay. You know what that page is all about. You know what that company is all about. And if you have any text that is over that image, which you should, it shouldn't just be a picture. There should be some text over it. Make sure you can read the text. So that example I gave you of a group shot from your last group trip, faces are terrible to put words over. And I'm not just saying from a being polite. It just the words and the faces, they all get blurred. So you just want to make sure sometimes you have to do like a background on your text to make sure that the photo doesn't distract or the text doesn't distract from the picture and vice versa. So always, think about the picture you use as signaling to the human on the other side what it is that you're selling on this landing page, and also that I can read whatever text you put over it. Okay. So that's a big tip. Uh, we get into another component of your landing page is the benefits of your offering. So, like I said, you can do a landing page that's just about working with your agency. So here's a great opportunity for you to bullet out. I do love a good bullet or break it out into sections. Sometimes you can break out, have multiple sections and an image to go with each one, but break down the benefits of whatever you're offering, whether it's yourself and a consultation of some sort, or it's again the group sailing to the Galapagos. What are the benefits of going with this group? Not just going to the Galapagos. I mean, you can use some of those, but make sure that it comes back to experience penguins, but with Joshua's group. You know what I mean? Like make sure that it isn't just selling the Galapagos. You're going to do a little bit of that, but you're going to be selling why they should do it with you and on this particular sailing, right? That's just going to be my go-to example. So we're just going to talk about the Galapagos, right? Anyway, so make sure you get the benefits of your offering. Then another core element is some form of social proof. Okay. So social proof, those are the trust signals. So a lot of people, when I say social proof, they think, oh, you're talking about links to social media. Nope, I'm not. I'm talking about testimonials. If you got testimonial video, that's even better. But if you've got quotes, if you have a high star value rating on or a high star value I keep saying again value high star rating on Google reviews or Facebook reviews. Um, Sometimes including that is just a signal to the user, the visitor of this website that that you are a real person and that the clients who have worked with you find you to be extremely valuable. Okay. So that's what you're looking for there. Sorry, I had to adjust my screen there. So that's what you're looking for there. And it's it can take the form of various different things. It could be a photo of one of your clients and their quote. It could be even a snapshot or screenshot of your uh, some of your last trip. Maybe you did if you did group sailings, or if you sell destination weddings. This is a good one if I do say so myself. Uh, if you have social posts that they there you go. Dogs, we love them, but they will hack while you are doing a webinar. Uh, but if you do destination weddings, then you could have social media photos. You could have photos from the weddings, but social media photos where you take kind of a snapshot of your client's social media posts, get their permission. But if you do that, that is showing the viewer that, oh, wait a minute, this person's clients had their wedding, took photos, and posted them publicly, and they look very happy. Does that not signal trust? I'm just saying. So be creative in thinking about how you can put those trust signals into your landing page. Everything that I'm telling you, folks, it it applies to websites too, okay? You're just, again, the difference with a website and a landing page. A landing page has one thing that we're trying to get them to do. The website serves multiple purposes. It is trying to get them to convert, but it's also trying to tell your story and potentially, if you are hiring people who are suppliers who are investigating you and are doing they're checking out to see what your business is all about. Your website does a lot for you. The landing page is only trying to get people to sign up for that Galapagos group trip. That is its sole purpose in life. Okay. Oh, I'm getting heated about the Galapagos there. All right. And number five is what I've been talking about the whole time, a single conversion goal. That is your call to action. What do you want them to do? What is this landing page's sole purpose? It's to get people to submit an inquiry, to join you on that Galapagos trip, to maybe talk to you about destination weddings, schedule an appointment to talk about destination weddings. Download your easy peasy guide to packing for Antarctica because you're an expert in Antarctica and you get these questions over and over again. So you've created this wonderful ebook or downloadable that will be a helpful resource. So that could be another purpose or conversion goal for your landing page. Okay. So, and it also could be just a phone call. If you do phone calls, then it could be just getting them to dial 1-800, da da da. You don't have to have an 800 number. I just using that as a fun example, but it could be a phone call. However, while having a phone number, I think should always be everywhere on whether it's a website page or a landing page. Um, I don't and this is just me, I don't count that as a real call to action. Your website, your landing pages, they live 24/7, and you need a way for people to convert when you know you can capture them. And the biggest way to do that would be to get them to fill out a form, to submit an inquiry, join your email list, whatever that might be. Or if you've got a scheduling app like Calendly, inserting schedule a consultation with me, that is a call to action and that is a conversion point. But the telephone number is you're not manning the phones or you're not standing by the phones all the time. So the phone number should be there. And just so you know, and you probably are aware of this, but just having a telephone number on a web page signals trust to the visitor. So while you might not get phone calls, people do if they don't see a telephone number, they think, oh, there's not a human being behind this. But no, there is. And if you would like to talk to them, the telephone number is found at the bottom of my website or my landing page. Okay. So make sure you get these five core elements: unique selling proposition or USP, a hero image or video, that's that big image at the top, the benefits of your offering, and make sure it's your offering. Don't get too vague on this. Talk about what makes you uniquely you, or this offer is uniquely it. Okay. And some form of social proof, the trust signals, and one signal or conversion goal, a one single conversion goal or call to action. That does not mean that you only have one button to fill out the form or to submit an inquiry. You can pepper that throughout the landing page, but you don't have a button to submit an inquiry or schedule an appointment at the very top, and then we have just a bunch of content down below. After almost every scroll, there should be whether it's a hyperlink in text where you've embedded the link behind text on the page, or it's a big button, mash this button to submit this form. The form is embedded in the page. I mean, there can be lots of different ways that you do this, okay? But it is the same call to action throughout, all right? So I'm getting dinged. That must tell me it's time to move on. I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you do have any questions, drop them down in the Q&A or the chat. I think the Q&A is where you put that down below. And I will as there they go. I'm gonna do this right now. All right, guys, calm down because I'm teaching marketing, right? Okay, let's move on. Now, that's our newest addition. Her name is Tink, and she's found her voice. All right, so talk about tailoring the content to the travel industry, or we're going to say the traveler. Hey, Tink, Tink. Sorry, guys. So use content that is short and to the point and is easy to read. Now, in a landing page environment, man, I'm competing with a cacophony of sounds. In a landing page environment, you don't have you're not expecting someone to spend a ton of time on these pages, okay? So you want to make sure that you are really concise in the content that you've got embedded in the page and make sure that it is easy to read. So something that I think applies to emails, email marketing, direct mail, anything, sometimes the voice of our 12th grade teacher is English teacher is in our brain, where we have to write in big paragraphs. We have to use the Queen's English. I don't know. I will talk to somebody who is so easy to talk to, and then I'll read something they've written, and I'm like, oh, wow, you are putting it on there. Uh, because we've been taught to be so formal in the way we write. In any kind of marketing copy, think about how you would say it, write it that way. And I would always suggest that you have someone who is not you read what you've written to see, think, and ask them, what do you take away from that? Is what you read, is that what I wanted you to understand? Because sometimes we get exclamation point happy, and we think that we're emphasizing something, and someone else might be saying, "Oh my gosh, I don't your everything is so exciting in this paragraph. I am a little bit lost." That's the kind of feedback you want. You want somebody to be that honest with you in their feedback. Um, so definitely make sure it is short, to the point, and easy to read. All right. Now, just your footprint on the web. I included this in the landing page because I feel like if you create a landing page and you expect that to be the end all be all and everyone is going to love it, they're going to buy from you right away, that isn't the case. You need to have a website, so someone can even maybe leave your landing page, because some people will do this to validate you, that is that, and you want to make sure that they can find a site that is filled with trustworthy information. So you can put a lot of attention into a landing page, which is exactly what we're here to talk about, is putting a lot of attention around landing page. But if you're not actually uh, putting that same attention to your website, then you're gonna miss out on people being able to validate who you are as a travel professional. Okay, so make sure that all your social posts, make sure you're active in all those different ways that someone can research you on the web, because someone might have your landing page open in one screen and then in another screen search for you and your agency to see if you're a real agency, right? So make sure you're building that trustworthy content. This applies to your landing pages. This applies to your website, but provide tips and strategies that simplify travel planning for your customers. So in the context of your landing page, you're wanting to make sure that you are sharing information, whether it is about just booking a consultation to you, maybe that with you, that's what the landing page is all about, or it's getting people to that Galapagos group sailing. Uh, Provide tips, provide information, provide massive value on your landing page, and make sure that you're not overcomplicating it. Okay. And on that, I want to say, I'm going to use my group example, the Galapagos group. So if you are building a landing page that's a high converting landing page, that is not the page where all the documents go. That is not the page where every single detail of the group sailing is going to be kept. Okay. You can create another page for that. But as far as your marketing page, you're trying to keep that really all about selling the trip. So yes, you're going to have details about the itinerary. You might even have some bits about different destinations, some information about the destination, but you're not going to get down to make sure your visa is sorted out by this date, and here's how you get your visa renewed. You're not doing that because that is distracting. Okay. So that sometimes in these landing pages, I have seen someone try to put all of that information in there, and that does not make the travel planning process seem simple. Now, the way you unpack that information later, you can definitely make sure that that information's there, and you can simplify it because you're a travel pro. You make travel easy and you make the experiences wonderful. But if you try to cram all that information into a converting landing page, yeah, you're going to have a problem. So just make sure that throughout your website and your landing pages, you're always trying to provide massive value that I guarantee you will pay dividends later. I promise. All right. So, uh, offer suggestions on how to optimize the travel experience. Again, all of these tips, this is creating content for travelers, right? So whether it's your landing page or it's your website or it's your social media, I mean, this all applies in all those places. But sometimes we forget in a landing page that we need to merchandise or we need to market travel. So again, you're not going to go into a lot of detail here, but is there on your landing page about your destination wedding service? Can you can you offer up some suggestions on how to optimize the travel experience, or how you help them optimize the travel experience? Aha, that can be key. So these tips apply to everything that you do, all your marketing copy when you're talking to your traveler. But make sure you're thinking about these when you're building your landing page. Okay. Uh, this goes right along with what we're talking about. Make sure that you're creating content that your visitors can use. How many times have you visited a web page, even some of our supplier web pages, and you're like, I can't, that's not interesting at all. Or I call it a water sandwich, where it's just a lot of fluff and there's no sustenance behind it. So, make sure that you read that landing page and everything that is there has a reason for being there. Everything you're providing this massive value, um, but it is all even sales copy, the words that we use to sell our business, that's or sell, that's what copy is. Even your marketing copy, it needs to be fun, it needs to be exciting, it needs to be enthralling. Oh, that was a big word to use for marketing copy. But it needs to be all those things, but it doesn't need to, you don't need unnecessary words. And you don't want your copy to be redundant. You want it to be every single word, every single paragraph has a purpose. And when you're building a landing page, like I said earlier, you want to make sure you've got calls to action throughout. You don't want to make somebody have to scroll up to take action after they've been reading. But some people are going to go to your landing page and they're already sold. They're sold on you, your agency. Maybe you were getting your hair done and you were telling them all about it and you just said, "Hey, go, I'll send you a link and you can find out more." But they're already coming. They already want to know. So they filled the form out right away. That's fantastic. Some people have to read to the very bottom. And there's nothing wrong with those people. I'm just saying, don't just focus on the top, middle, end. Make sure that you throughout you're unpacking this wonderful story no matter what you're selling, and make sure that you've got the calls to action throughout. But again, make sure the content is something that your visitors can use and it isn't fluff. It isn't a water sandwich. It satiates you. A water sandwich does not satiate you. Um, so the other tip for tailoring content to your traveler is to tailor it to the delivery system that you use. And so I was talking about how I'm the chief revenue officer and I'm in charge. One of my responsibilities is service delivery. So how our company delivers its services, there's certain tools that we use. There's certain processes that we use. There are um, there are things, there are ways that we do things that if our customer doesn't understand that that's the way we do them, then that creates a miserable customer experience for them. So the reason why I added this point here is whatever you're talking about, whether it is I do destination weddings, submit an inquiry to learn more. Whether it is book a consultation with me, um, and use the scheduling link, or come on this group, or find out more about this group that I have going on. Make sure that you are thinking about the things that that customer might need to know about how you communicate, um, how the planning process goes. Um, I'm trying to think, communicate how what they should expect of you, through whatever it is that you're selling in terms of their interaction with you. Now, this is not, by saying this, I'm not saying um, have a section of how you work with me. That might be applicable to what the landing page that you're building, but that's not what I'm saying here. I'm just trying to make sure that um, uh, you don't tell a story about, if you focus on, if this is, say this is about trips to the Magic Kingdom, okay? Uh, I am I would make sure that you make sure everything, the story that you're telling fits with how you work with clients. And I think the best way for me to illustrate this is if you say throughout the copy, throughout the words on the page, that you built, if you say you're going to hold their hand through the entire process of planning and throughout their trip, let's just say that's what one could infer from the copy that you've written on the landing page, and that isn't what you do. You don't hold their hand through the whole process, or you don't go with them on their trip you're not on the trip with them. Make sure that that isn't what you're saying through the copy. Okay. So, uh, you're not necessarily saying, here's the 5 ways you work with me. That might not be applicable. That might be applicable depending on what the landing page is about. But throughout whatever you're writing, don't overpromise and underdeliver. I think that's probably the best way to sum that up. And set the expectation for how they're going to work with you or interact with you. Um, in the case of maybe a travel with me group, you are gonna possibly hold their hand through that process, right? You're going to be with them. So make sure you tailor the story that you're telling about that. You tailor it around that experience, right? It's I am going to be right there with you the whole time. We're going to explore Scotland together. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. So talk about that. That's also, I mean, that's just part of in that particular example. That's a part of why I might travel with you is because we're going to do that. But don't say something that is not something that you are going to deliver. And sometimes you inadvertently do that. So just when you're writing, write your copy, build your landing page, but then go through it with a filter and say, okay, what does it sound like I do? And is this what I do? And is this how I deliver my service? All right. Um, and this last tip, again, all of these tips are about writing copy for or writing content for your travelers. Okay. So it applies for social media, your website, and landing page. Um, in this last tip, I think, is more of me trying to force this in for, again, all of those different avenues because a landing page might have a short life. It might not stay forever. Like if it's a group that you've put together and there's a certain time window where you're going to take people who are in that are interested, or it could be something that is attached to your advertising campaigns, just about finding out more about working with you or booking a consultation appointment. Now, those pages live on, and those are indexed by the search engines. Um, so, there's different lifespans for landing pages, but no matter what, keep your writing fresh, so your visitors will come back frequently. That might not be as applicable to a landing page as it is to your website, but it's just a good tip. Just keep on writing. That's why blogs are so good because you're continually writing. There's something new for somebody to consume on your website. If they're consuming content on your website and they're coming back to your website over and over again, then it's much easier to get them to click a button to come and visit your landing page. All right. Um, so again, if you guys have any questions, drop them down in the Q&A, or I don't know if the chat is open, but definitely the Q&A. But thank you for joining me this morning for this session. I hope you're getting massive value out of this, just like your landing pages. All right, let's go on to strategies for maximum conversion on your website. So I know a lot of text, but this is for you to, I'm going to leave this up on the screen for a while so you digest it, and I'm going to talk you through it. Okay. So conversions. Conversions, again, are taking unknown visitors from the web and getting them to do something on your landing page or your website page. I know it's confusing because I keep going back and forth, but a lot of these principles apply to your website. So we're talking landing pages because that has one single call to action. But we can also apply these things to websites. All right, so plan ahead and think about how you're going to optimize your page to ensure that people are going to convert. Okay. A common mistake here is that you've got some great images that you're going to put on this landing page, and you build your form, and it you make it simple for people to fill out the form, so they can submit it quickly. Think about the attention span of somebody who is watching a little league game. If while something boring is going on, they pull up your landing page. Make sure that your form is easy for them to fill out. But a common mistake that I have seen is not forms being overcomplicated. I mean, that does happen, but that person who is visiting your landing page on their phone, um, they they skip over the first conversion point that you've created. Click here to submit an inquiry, right? And then they start scrolling further down. They can't find the conversion point again. They don't remember that it was a button at the top of the page. So, when you're thinking about your optimizing your page for maximum conversion, um, make sure that those buttons, or those links out to the different conversion points are peppered throughout. So even if you're just drawing this on a piece of paper, I'm going to have a hero image and I'm going to have some copy here, but make sure you're peppering your calls to action throughout the page. All right. Um, so think about that in advance. The whole point of this is a landing page has one call to action, one conversion. Sorry, I just contradicted myself. There's one action that they're to take, and that's to fill out a form, say. But that call to action appears throughout the page. That's what I'm saying. You just don't have multiple types of conversions. I hope that makes sense. All right. Narrow your audience. Design your landing page to meet the needs of your target audience so they're more likely to stay on it. Um, Let me give you an example of how this goes wrong. Um, a lot of landing page systems that you might use or website builders that you use have templates in them, and those templates have photos in them. Oftentimes, they're very business oriented. So, uh, you might be selling a family vacation uh, experience to Orlando, and you have put a great hero image in there of Orlando, the Orlando experience. And then further down within that template, they have other spots for photos. And within the template, they have maybe somebody who looks very corporate and they're on their laptop. Uh, that nothing shatters the illusion of an Orlando vacation like a stock image of somebody on their computer being all corporate-y. Okay. So that's something that I've seen. People spend time on the top of a landing page template and then don't necessarily change up photos throughout or add more photos um, to uh, to make sure that this is staying in the illusion of an Orlando vacation. So think about what it is that who you're marketing to. In the case of a landing page that is all about booking a consultation with you, okay? And let's say that your agency does a couple of things really, really well, and you want more of these clients, so you have different ad campaigns or content campaigns or social media campaigns about these different types of these aspects of your business. And I'm going to use some examples that are pretty broad here. Um, so say you do corporate travel, you do help those local businesses and their corporate travel needs. Okay. So there's that aspect. You also help families craft magical experiences in Orlando. Okay. So you do that as well. And you also do, I'm not going to say, well, you know what? I am going to say this. I know this is the worst agency ever because this agency is all over the place. But in this agency, in Joshua's agency, they do corporate travel, they do Orlando magical travel, and they do destination weddings. And by the way, my office is staffed by one, just me. So that is not a great example of an agency, but it's the perfect example of you might have landing pages for each aspect of your business: destination weddings, magical Orlando vacations, and corporate travel. Okay. So if I build a landing page for all three of those, a separate landing page for all three of those, which is definitely the what I would do. I would not have them. I mean, that is definitely a hodgepodge I mean, I would be so confused. But I can use the basic layout of, image, call, my conversion point. It's submit an inquiry or schedule a consultation with me. I tell a little bit about me. I have some social proof in there. Um, I've got my calls to action peppered throughout. I can use that same kind of format for all three different aspects of my business. Okay. The call to action or the single conversion point is booking time with me. Okay. So all of them, that's the same call to action. However, someone who is looking for a corporate travel agency or someone to fulfill their corporate travel needs to see corporate travelers, needs to see the business traveler experience. So maybe all your photos, um, well, not maybe, for sure, any photos should definitely signal business travel. And on the other side of that, your magical Orlando experience, I don't need to see business travelers. I need to see people having a magical Orlando experience, right? So and maybe I change up the colors. Maybe over on the corporate side, I use greens and gold. I don't know why I picked those. I just for some reason that screamed corporate to me. And then over on the magical experience, I'm using pinks and blues. That's making that, and maybe I have some fonts that look like very magical fairy tale fonts. I don't know. For headers and things like that. So I sprinkle some magic on that page. And then on my destination weddings page, what do I need to see? I need some wedding photos. I need couples. I need I need weddings that are happening in destinations, right? So I make sure that um, each landing page is designed to meet the needs of that target audience, because I want to make sure that they don't get confused. I want to make sure that they stay on it, and I want to make sure they absorb the information. Um, as I said earlier, one of your core elements is adding social proof or trust signals. So use reviews and testimonials to build trust with potential customers. So for all three of those pages I just created, with my magical like Tony Stark screens that I'm imagining in front of me here. Um, but uh, each one of those should have some kind of trust signal, multiple trust signals. But testimonial wise, if I'm promoting business travel, I need someone in business talking about business travel. If I'm doing magical Orlando experiences, I've got someone giving me a testimonial on magical Orlando experiences. And if I've got destination weddings, I need couples giving me testimonials, or like I said earlier, photos from their social media that I'm allowed to share to show that they were so excited, not only about their wedding, but not only about their wedding, but also that it was in Jamaica. And what a beautiful experience we had, right? Um, you need those to help with the conversion, right? Because that social proof, some of us need that. We need to know that other people like someone before we're willing to do business with them. I know, crazy, right? But I wonder how many times, like now that you are thinking about that, as you look at ads or social posts or websites, um, I'm curious how many of you catch yourself reading the testimonial or seeing just that they're not even reading it, just seeing that there is a testimonial, seeing if that actually makes you pull the trigger and contact that company. So anyway, that's going to be our experiment, right? But yeah, make sure you've got those. And with testimonials, I have found that if you have a section on your site where you have testimonials, or on your landing page where you have the testimonials, have that repeat of your call to action right there, because some people just need to read that somebody or see that somebody else likes this person and works with this person, and then they're ready to take action. So remember, you're trying to prevent them from having to scroll all through your page to find where to take action. Put that call to action right there at the testimonial level. Um, uh, Next strategy is to make your copy flow. Remember, copy, that's all the words that you've got on the page. That's all the words that sell, is what copy is. It's a marketing term. It's like we're in an episode of Mad Men here. But just make sure your copy flows. Address the user's intent quickly and remove distractions. This is applicable to so many things, okay? Um, but I want to dive into the word intent. Okay. So what is the visitor's intent by visiting your landing page or your website page? Hold on a second. I need a Dr. Pepper break. This part of today's session is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. All right. All right, now we're ready. Um, So how did they get to your page? Why are they there? So that is what you want to get behind, is the intent. So if you created, let's go back to our landing page on our group that's going to go to the Galapagos next year. So if someone got to this page, how did they get to it? Did they do a random search on Google? That could be one way. Did you send them the link in an email? That could be another way. Were you at the hairdresser's and you were talking about it and you sent them the link via text? That that could be the way. Um, or were they visiting your website and they saw a list of all the groups that you have going over the next year? That maybe you got a calendar of all the groups that you have going. So maybe they clicked from there. Okay. So I just named a number of different ways, or how they got to you. So their intent for this particular thing, this action that they've taken, they've clicked a button or a link. What is their intent? Well, in this case, it's to find out more about this group that's going to the Galapagos. Okay. So what do I need to see at the top of the page when I get there? I need to obviously see a picture that conveys this group experience to the Galapagos, right? But I also don't need um, any fluff in terms of the copy. I need to maybe see the dates of of when this group is going. I need to quickly be able to see what this entails. It's going to be a small group of 10 people or 10 couples, whatever it is. Um, I need some details. I need to get to the point, right? So if their intent is to find out more about your group sailing to the Galapagos, get to the point. Don't insert maybe your elevator pitch on you as a travel advisor or agency. before you get to the meat of this experience, right? Maybe you have that further down the page. You know, this page is about the group sailing to the Galapagos. You want to know more about me? Well, here's a little bit more about me. You can say that a little further down. But know why someone has gotten to this page or how they've gotten to this page. Their intent in this scenario is to learn more about the Galapagos group sailing. So make sure you get to the point, avoid distractions, make sure that, again, the landing page doesn't have navigation at the top. It doesn't allow you to bounce around to other pages and get lost on your website. It's all about getting them to take that one single action. Okay. So make sure that the reason why there isn't a navigation thing, menu there is because we're removing that distraction. We don't want you to get lost. We want you to stay in the zone. And we're gonna keep unpacking this Galapagos group until you hit the button and submit your inquiry. So look at your landing page and see where you have things that are not um, helping you tell the story. We're always telling stories, but we sometimes put things in the way that distract the viewer, the listener. We put things in the way, like my dog's barking earlier. Um, Guess what? Next week they're going to be banned to the guest room, okay? Because that was distracting to you, but it was also distracting to me as the storyteller. So, um, use don't have dogs ruin your presentation or your story. Keep the distractions away. And sometimes it's things that you think are helping. I'm trying to think of an example. Um, you know what? It could be this is what I'm going to use. I am very big on for most agencies that I work with, there is it's an agency of one, right? Either it's a solopreneur who's just getting started, or their business is still at the stage where they are their business. So I'm a proponent of making sure that your mug, your face, is everywhere in your marketing. However, if the if I've got a beautiful hero image of the Galapagos, and then the next section is a giant picture of your face, it's your headshot, that's distracting. Now, a picture of you in the Galapagos or a picture of you traveling, maybe it's not in the Galapagos because maybe this is going to be your first time going to the Galapagos. Um, that's okay. But that corporate headshot is ruining the storytelling for me. So that's a distraction and it doesn't fit with the flow. Remember, designing the page for your target audience. So, think about that. Think about that and make sure that everything fits. That there is a purpose, just like I was saying about the words, all the words matter, but also all the images that you use, all the icons that you might use. It might be that they're distracting in the way that your copy is written. They don't support the copy where you're at in the copy, but later on the page, they will fit. So it's not that your corporate headshot doesn't need to be there, but it might not need to be right there. So think about how your copy, how the words that you've put together to help sell this experience. Think about that and where the images are, or images, or maybe it is even the copy. Make sure that everything flows and is very, very focused on getting them to convert and to take action. Um, I've already addressed this, but use the right images. Images can resonate with viewers more quickly than copy, but can also hurt conversions if used poorly. Um, I've kind of talked about images throughout, but really think about the images and are they selling the story? Going back to the Joshua's agency that does corporate, magical, Orlando trips and destination weddings. Um, on all three of those different pages or subsequent pages I might build for different offers or things that I'm using landing pages for. Um, I need to make sure that those images fit with that business and with what I'm trying to do. Um, Add contact information, make it easy to find your contact information, such as phone number, so visitors feel confident in your trustworthiness. I said that already. Um, Calling is something that people don't do often, but it does signal trust. If I see a telephone number, then I believe that there is another human being on the other side. So having the telephone number there is fantastic. Plus, if you, depending on what you're doing with your landing page, it might be, for some people, it might be a complex offer, and it would be much easier for them to give you a bell and ask you the questions that they have. So make that easy to find. I like a telephone number in the upper right corner. I like a telephone number in the footer of a website. Um, I also like uh, occasional breaks in the copy where, yes, you've got your calls to action, but you also have, hey, and if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Um, that might not be the action I want them to take, but man, oh man, does that make someone feel really confident when they see a telephone number, and to know that if I'm a little confused or gosh, I'm just so interested, I want to be able to take action right away. Um, I can. Okay. So, add that contact information. Do you need to add your address? Not, that is not something I have found to be extremely effective in making a high converting website. However, in the footer, having an address, your business address, your mailing address, whatever you use, um, having that in the footer, just like the telephone number, it does it does help convey that this is a business and there is a way to get a hold of them, either via phone or by mail. Sometimes it's helpful if I'm in New York and you're in New York. um, I don't know, sometimes that makes me feel like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Not that I have to buy with someone locally, but now when I do talk to you, we have something in common. We're both New Yorkers. Okay. Uh, an address does signal trustworthiness, but is it necessary? No. And many of you may work from home, so you might not want to put your address, but maybe you just have your city and state in there. That can be helpful. It also can be helpful for pages that live for a while on the web. So you've got an offer that is evergreen, like downloading an ebook or something like that. Google does pick up on addresses. So sometimes that might help you be discoverable in your local area. So it doesn't hurt. Um, and in some cases, it does help. Okay. So add that contact information. And something that you should always believe in is running tests. Test different headlines, copy, the form length, how much information you're asking for on a form. Sometimes those forms can require too much information. Um, to do all these tests to identify user behavior and improve your results. Um, so the takeaway here is don't be done. You're never really done. And if you built a landing page today, in 3 months, I bet you would tweak it a little bit more, whether it was based on what you saw in Google Analytics. Say you're somebody who understands Google Analytics and uses that to monitor behavior, or it's just, now you're more savvy, you're more marketing savvy. That's been live for a few months. You've talked to a few people that have inquired. They still had some questions. So maybe you make a video to add to your landing page to help tell your story. So by the time you speak to them, they're even more educated. I mean, just be willing to test different ideas, because the great thing about web marketing, digital marketing, is nothing is permanent. So you can make those changes at any point, and you should. So run tests. All right, moving right along. Again, if you have any questions, guys, drop those in the chat. Um, all right, and there's my mom. She just joined us. Hey, Mom. Uh,
Hi.
all right. So let's talk about driving traffic to your landing page. Uh, Again, if you build it, people are not going to just come. So we need to drive traffic there. So I've just given a list of different things to think about. These are very, very common. These are things that you probably use already. Um, but just wanted to make sure I gave you a laundry list of items, and maybe they spark some inspiration that you haven't had yet. But paid search ads, doing a Google ad campaign for keywords that are related to what your landing page offer is. Paid social ads, same thing. Display advertising, that's where you create banner ads that are put on different websites across the internet, and those banner ads are tied directly to what your landing page is offering. Retargeting ads. These are all things that are topics in and of themselves. So these are things that, feel free to research, but know that we'll definitely be talking about these things over the weeks to come for sure. But retargeting ads are ads that display to users who have visited your web presence, your website, maybe this landing page before, and it reminds them to come back. So it's retargeting, it's bringing them back to a page that they visited, your page, which can be highly effective, because I might have seen your ad, or I might have visited your web page, and said, "Oh, I'm going to come back to that page when I get home," and then I forget about it. So retargeting ads can be highly effective because they're people who have already visited your site. Um, so getting them to come back, that is, to me, even better than just getting a bunch of people to visit your web page who don't take action. Newsletter sponsorship. So you could sponsor, do ads on a very popular newsletter, or sometimes you can even just do a collaboration with a newsletter. Say you live near a retirement community and they have their own newsletter, or even just a community in general. They might not sell advertising space, but maybe you reach out to them. Again, always come with massive value that you're providing. Maybe you do a webinar on how to experience Europe your way. Um, and that's something that you're offering in exchange for just including a link to your website or a landing page that you've created specifically for that group of people, that audience. So you don't necessarily have to sponsor the newsletter, but you can collaborate by providing content. There's podcast sponsorships. Believe me, they're not as expensive as you think they are, especially with somebody who maybe is right in your niche, and maybe they're not so popular that they're commanding these huge, huge sponsorship fees. Some people just need help with their monthly fees in operating their podcast, that could be maybe $100. Think about podcast sponsorships. Um, Post, of course, on your social channel. If you've got a landing page that you've created about that Galapagos group, then post on your social handles or social channels and get people to go to that landing page. Um, Share this content in relevant communities. So if you belong to Facebook groups where it's acceptable, so you want to know the rules of those Facebook groups, but if it's acceptable for you to share, hey, I'm taking a group of seniors who like adventure. I'm hosting a group. If you're interested, visit my landing page to, or not visit my landing page, but click here to learn more. If that's acceptable in the group that you're in, then by all means, make sure that you share that content. But again, make sure it's relevant. You're not going to post that same example in a Facebook group for new moms that you might be in. Um, Encourage your team to share on social accounts. So if you do have a team, encourage them to share. If you don't have a team, activate your network, your friends, your family, even past customers. Okay. Um, do your keyword research. So very much the same as you would do with any website that you're building. Excuse me. Whew. We've had a lot of real human moments this morning with the dogs, my mom, now me sneezing, and my Dr. Pepper break. But do your keyword research. Uh, think about, you know it as destination weddings. But if you're building a landing page for destination weddings, not everybody searches destination weddings. So find out what they do search for. Have my wedding in uh, another country or having weddings in another country. I'm just guessing. Again, these are all big topics in and of themselves. So you can do research on your own on doing keyword research, or I know we will definitely be talking about that. So just make sure that those keywords that people, the key phrases that people are using to search, that you've worked those into your copy. That's going to improve your rankings and discoverability, and also is going to, if that's what I type in to search to get to your page, and I see that you answer that question, that also makes me want to stay on the page. All right. Again, big topic, big topic. SEO settings and page titles. So in every website builder or landing page builder, there's an opportunity for you to create the title. Often it is the meta title. It is the overall title. It's when you search in Google, it's the big font that you see for each entry. So you want to make sure that that matches up with what your offer is on the landing page. So it shouldn't say something like landing page test one. It should say magical Orlando experiences with Joshua's travel agency. I don't know. That was me riffing there. Um, and there's also the page titles, but there's also the meta description or the short description that is what shows up underneath the big text when you in the Google entry. That helps with discoverability, but it also, think about it, when you look at a Google results page and you see the different entries and you see a little bit about like the entry paragraph, if the title and the description kind of sync up and they're telling me a story like, magical Orlando experiences, Joshua creates magical Orlando experiences for families and whatever it is. Um, that helps me. That's my entry, right? That helps me connect that this is a page I want to visit. So I visit the page, and then your page tells me more, right? Also, sometimes when people are sharing links, that's what automatically populates in in the social post. So it helps tell your story as people are sharing your link. So you definitely want to take advantage of those settings, SEO settings. Um, link to new pages from existing pages. So I was saying you have pages on your website, and now you have a landing page that's specific to whatever content is on that page on your website. Link to these new pages, and definitely always you should be doing this without even landing pages, but build an email list because that email list is who your every landing page you build if it's about new offers or new capabilities, make sure you're communicating those offers to your audience, okay? And to your email list. So make sure on your website you have a function, the capability of collecting email addresses, because that email list not only helps you in your overall marketing, but definitely helps you drive traffic to landing pages because you now have a call to action in your emails that is going to something specific like the Galapagos group sailing that you're doing. All right. So many ways to drive traffic to your landing page. Make sure you're exploring some options that maybe you haven't thought of yet. All right. Now here's the technical piece. Now I want you to take a picture of this because this is really getting down to the analyzing the information and a lot of the detailed analytics from your page. This oftentimes can come from your website builder or landing page builder, these different things. But so you can monitor them there, or you can even look at them through Google Analytics. But here I'm giving you um, different metrics that you can be tracking, a description of those metrics, and then the insight that that relates to that metric. So if the if you get a high bounce rate, that means that somebody visited the page and quickly left. Then you need that may suggest that you need to adjust your copy, the content on the page, to make sure that people, whatever their however they're getting to the page, they're seeing that the page isn't relevant, so they're bouncing and leaving. So what is going on? And it could be that you don't get to the point fast enough, right? That's what we talked about earlier. The conversion rate is the number of people who are visiting the web page versus how many people are actually doing the action, completing the action. So I've given you here metrics, the description, and the actionable insight. I will be very, very transparent with you. Most of you are at the place where it is going to be a big effort to build the landing page. You definitely want to refine based on data, but many of you just need to get started. So I would focus your energy on taking all the tips that I've given you and the information I've given you on building a high converting landing page. I would focus on that first because until you are applying all of those techniques and tips, um, you're not really ready to be watching the numbers. And that's going to be shocking to some of you that I say that. But I don't want you to be overwhelmed with analyzing data before you've actually built the pages and started to accept that landing page mentality. Remember, your website is your home on the web, and there's lots of different things that you can do there to learn more about doing business with you. But your landing page is supposed to do one thing. It has one conversion point, and you want to make sure that you are building a landing page that is getting them to do that one thing. All right. Uh, with that said, we're wrapping up. Thank you so much for joining me in today's session. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you got a lot out of it. It is, doing having a landing page that is converting for your business is a huge it's just a massive tool and it works around the clock. Okay. So I hope that you will get started right away and identifying. First step is identifying what landing pages could you or should you build. Okay. So start there and then start building and publishing those landing pages and promoting those landing pages. All right. Now, I hope you join me next Saturday for another travel agency marketing strategy session. I hope you had fun. Like I said, thank you again for joining me. But I will be back next Saturday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, live, or you can watch this on demand. So don't worry if you missed any part of it. You will get an email. I believe you get an email right away. If you don't, let us know. You get an email where you can watch the replay of this. So again, thank you for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye.